We ask members of the First Presidency to please arise. It is proposed that the First Presidency sustain Russell Marion Nelson as prophet, seer, and revelator, and President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Travis went good, so. As missionaries, we went around telling everybody who were Christian, because it didn't do any good to tell a Buddhist about the Christian apostasy, or Muslim. Muslims would agree. Yeah, Christians are evil. Yep. And it's because we tell them that authority to lead the church was in Jesus and the apostles. So when they all died off, the remaining bishops didn't have the full authority necessary to lead all the churches. All they had authority for was to preach to their individual congregations. And yet, nonetheless, Constantine came around, united all the churches into one under him, as he became the theocratic God on earth, created Jesus as Trinity with Homoousios, and thus Christianity was born. Constantine had no authority. He was part of the Roman Empire. They didn't have authority from God. They claimed it through their own religion, but not as through the Jews, all the way back to the house of Israel, all the way back to Adam. And it's that authoritative lineage of descent that is necessary to claim true succession. And so, as you can see throughout our world history, many break-offs claim to have true succession and wage wars against others who also claim true succession. And so religion has become a terrorist organization rather than a religion that teaches peace and love. And so it's no different with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Joseph Smith had a completely different administration than what Brigham Young's branch off has de-evolved today. As Nelson's even done worse, taking away more stuff from it. In section 124, verse 127, I give unto you my servant, Brigham Young, to be a president over the 12 traveling council, which 12 hold the keys to open up the authority of my kingdom upon the four quarters of the earth, and after that to send my word to every creature. Missionary work. Opening up churches to preach the gospel. That's it. Peter, James, and John are the keys of that presidency. Those are the keys being referred to here, which 12 hold the keys to open up. Peter, James, and John. And yet, for some reason, Mormons have, it's because of Brigham Young. Obviously. And so, what were the original keys? I don't need to do this. 107.91. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church. So this is the Jesus position. This is the Christ position. You know, Jesus and the 12 apostles. Brigham Young was over the 12 apostles with the keys of Peter, James, and John. But this is the Jesus keys. Never heard that, have you? There's a reason. To be like unto Moses. Why not Jesus? Because Jesus came to the Kirtland Temple, section 110. I did this video. It's about Elias, but it's not Elias. So, in the Kirtland Temple on Passover of the Jews, verse 11, after this vision closed, the heavens were open again unto us, and Moses appeared before us, and committed to us unto us the keys of the gathering of Israel. The keys of the gathering of Israel? Isn't that missionary work for the 12? But we just read, this is for the president of the church. What gathering did Moses have? Exodus. Latter-day keys of Moses. For the president of the church. After this, Elias appeared. This is Elisha, Joshua. It's not Elijah, as people assume. Nope, error. Because I went over in that video, the Gospel of Abraham is talked about in the book of Abraham as the gospel of salvation. Elisha, Yahshua, Jesus, the Jesus keys. Elisha and Elijah also were paired up in the book of Kings, talked about, both of whom parted the Jordan River as Moses parted the waters as well. This whole parting of waters for the presidential keys. And so then, yes, Elijah, whom was spoken of by Malachi, whom also the Jews are looking for the latter-day Messiah. You're seeing a pattern here. Joseph Smith knew we're not Christian. Do I need to go over this again with you? You read it to people on your missions. It's from Joseph Smith history. Yahshua himself told it to Joseph Smith. Alright. Verse 19. I was answered that I must join none of them, referring to the religious sects of the day, for they were all wrong. And the personage who addressed me said that all their creeds, starting with the Nicene Creed from the Nicene Council, where Jesus was created, were an abomination in his sight. Do you now understand Sure would have helped us if we had known this information when we went to tell Christians this. That the professors were all corrupt. They draw near to me with their lips, Jesus this and Jesus that, but their hearts are far from me, because he doesn't exist. He's supernatural. Supernatural means, by definition, not real. They teach for doctrines, the commandments of men, having a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. You know, it takes two to tango. Oh, I may be guilty, but you too, you made this happen. Oh, so Lucifer is not solely responsible. Got to drag Heavenly Father into it. Got to take down Heavenly Father with Lucifer. Because that's what two to tango means. It's a false doctrine. People will be punished for their own sins and not for Adam's transgressions. And so, going back to the keys of Moses, verse 92 says, "Behold, here is wisdom, yea, to be a seer, a revelator, a translator, and a prophet, having all the gifts of God." What other gifts of God are there? Oh, the gifts of the Spirit, which any of us can have. We all have different gifts, don't we? Maybe some of you have none and you claim some, or you want some and you don't have any. Translator is a gift of the Spirit. It is not a key. The key is Moses. And so all you all Mormons who told me I can't be a translator, despite having received the key to translate as the gift. God, you'd rather listen to speculating, can't think of the word, apologists. And so, yeah, when Joseph Smith died, there were a requirement for succession. Let's do that first before I go on to this other one. Verse 21 of section 107. Of necessity, there are presidents, or presiding officers, growing out of, or appointed of, or from among those who are ordained to the several offices in these two priesthoods. Do you understand what that means? Brigham Young, after chasing out Thomas B. Marsh from the presidency of the Quorum of the 12 Traveling Apostle Missionaries, their quorum met, and in accordance with verse 27, and every decision made by either of these quorums must be by the unanimous voice of the same. That is, every member in each quorum must be agreed to its decisions in order to make their decisions of the same power or validity one with another. A majority may form a quorum when circumstances render it impossible to be otherwise. So, yeah, Thomas B. Marsh wasn't the only one kicked out. William Smith was also kicked out and excommunicated. Why would he kick out one of the Smith brothers? So that he can get a unanimous vote from the remaining loyalists to make him the president of the quorum. And yet, after Joseph died, did they follow that procedure for the presidency of the church? Well, there's a difference for the presidency of the church. Here it is in 22. Of the Melchizedek priesthood, of whom the president is the leader of the church. 3 presiding high priests, chosen, voted by the body. What body? Of the presiding high priest? No. It's succession time. You need to appoint new presiding high priests. So it's the Melchizedek priesthood, not the presidency of the... And yet, we're told that the apostles choose. That's now the body. No. So after Joseph Smith died, this was the proper process and procedure for choosing the next president of the church. Yet Brigham Young came out and said, hey, I'm the leader of the missionaries. Plus, Joseph Smith came to our quorum and presented us here with this signed, documented letter saying I'm to be the president of the church. And in case you don't believe just this one document, I also am in the Council of 50, and Joseph came to me in that Council of 50, and again secretly made me the president of the church with this signed, documented letter. James Strang also had a letter from Joseph Smith. James Strang trumped him, Brigham Young that is, with finding metal plates with ancient writing on them, of which he produced a translation of. So yeah, the popular Mormons went with him. Took them all to Michigan, a little island off of Michigan, and then he decided, with the help of Bennett, let's do polygamy. And he was mysteriously murdered, and that organization ended. You know that the church was only called the Church of Christ? Do you know which one of the leaders of the church kept that name? Sidney Rigdon. He was the first counselor. The whole time he was the number one once he joined. So now let's go to Numbers. So now that I hope it's clear the church is in apostasy, that it has fallen, you now need to find out how God chose Joseph Smith to be the restoring Moses, the restoring Christ. And we already know the first vision, dream. Numbers chapter 12, verse 6. Both Aaron and Miriam think they know better than their brother, and they want to lead the whole congregation of Israelites. So the Lord himself comes down and says, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. That's who you're looking for. And nope, Brigham Young didn't claim that. Nobody claimed this. And so to this day, all of the successors from Brigham Young are merely the Quorum of Missionaries. It's the first president of the Quorum of Missionaries, just like the Pope for Catholics is just the president of all the bishops. That's the highest authority that he has. That's the highest authority that Nelson has. Nelson is not Moses. He is not the Christ. He is not Elijah. He is not Joshua, Elisha. He doesn't even want anything to do with Jewish culture, origins. He can't even get the right definition of Israel, which again, as I told you, means that Jacob usurped Esau's birthright and blessing, so now Jacob will have the Christ of the latter days through his lineage. Yah, Prince of God. Prince is the successor to the throne of King. Yah is the Hebrew God. So instead, Nelson says, hey, he's white supremacist. So, there you go.